Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Max and Nicky 1000th Time Reactions.
Where we react to a song after listening to it for our 1000th time.
We release 3 videos a day.
Every day.
So please hit that subscribe button.
And turn on post notifications.
So you don't miss out on all this great content. What are we going to listen to right now, Nicky?
We're going to listen to Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
And we're going to watch the video, actually, as well.
Sure.
Because, I mean, let's face it.
You gotta not watch.
Let's face it, I would say the music video itself is more famous than the recorded song.
No, they're both equally as, popular,
Well, why don't...
We'll talk about that later. Okay, but I will say this. We have watched the music video and listened to the song plenty of times, and for all intents and purposes, we're going to call it our 1000th time. But before we get to that, just want to remind you, as we usually do, that we have another YouTube channel called Max and Nicky, on which we perform oldies tunes, jazz standards, and originals in that vein.
And we have comedy videos on there as well. But for right now, let's take a listen and a watch to Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
For our 1000th time.
Here we go. once again,
I just got shivers at the end. You didn't want to finish the credits there?
oh, do you want to finish the credits?
I mean, I guess we don't need to finish the credits. I mean, I guess that's not what people are interested in watching us watch the credits, right? But it's
once again, the 80s proves itself to be the most innovative decade.
I mean, gosh, obviously the 60s was a very innovative decade as well, but the 80s just broke into new ground. It was the future, you know?
Well, that's what everything was about, looking forward to the future in the 80s,
Sure.
Futurism.
But
not only, I mean, look, MTV was huge in the 80s. I mean, it started in the 80s, and it really helped propel songs to number one.
This song in particular, well, look, you're right. The music video was very popular.
It was very iconic. I mean,
it was one of the most popular music videos of the 80s, and it definitely did help propel this song further along in its popularity. But the song itself is very catchy. It's a very good song.
It is very good, but
there's no doubt that would have been a hit even without as strong of a music video.
Right? It wouldn't. But I would say it wouldn't have been as big of a hit. I mean, look, I think the reason it became a bigger hit is because you had a lot of songs on MTV at the time, and so in order to compete in the market at the time, you had to have a music video. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So if you had a music video, that would help boost the popularity of your music as well. But this really boosted the popularity of the song. I mean, if I had to show somebody an example of a music video from just any era, but it's particularly when MTV was, showing music videos, this is the quintessential one that I would show them.
Thriller as well.
Yeah, Thriller. You're right. Thriller also.
Or Billie Jean too, actually. I mean, there's lots of music videos.
There's multiples, but this is definitely up there, top 5 for sure.
Definitely.
No, I mean, for sure,
This is one of the most innovative music videos ever made. I actually looked up the backstory to this music video fairly recently.
The Brothers K.
Right, exactly. And, they did a lot of music videos around the time. They did Road to Nowhere by Talking Heads.
Right. Well, did they do that, or did the director who directed this music video? They didn't direct this.
Oh, they didn't.
See, that's what I was I was trying to look up for just a second ago, but they provided the claymation, the pixelation, the stop motion animation, but they weren't directing it though.
Right.
The guy who directed it, I believe he did do The Road to Nowhere, which has elements of this music video in it.
What's interesting about
it was like, oh, and then he was like, okay, the next music video, I'm going to go really crazy on this.
I did look into this
stop motion
and
animation.
Apparently, Peter Gabriel had to just sit in the same position for hours on end, for them to make this video correctly, and just imagine having to sit in one space for a very long time where they're manipulating your head essentially during that whole time.
And thinking about it, it's stop motion animation, so they're shooting a frame by frame.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty crazy.
But it's really
or unless what they're doing. Well, I guess in order to manipulate his hair like that, they would. Unless what they're also doing, what they could be doing is shooting several frames and then taking out frames.
Sure. The way this music video looks and the stop motion quality of it kind of reminds me of Jan Svankmajer, who is a Czech filmmaker, and he would make movies or shorts like similar to stop motion shorts, but they were with real people, And,
sure. Brothers K, Jan Svankmajer, they both, same kind of thing going on there.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. But there's just so much to pick apart, obviously, in this music video. I mean, we could just keep talking about the music video, but let's talk about the song real quick.
Well, I must confess, when we were watching, I was watching more than listening, because it really is just kind of this. There's just so much going on the screen that you can't help to want to just pick apart everything that you're watching.
Sure. I was though. I was. I
love the chickens dancing,
Sure.
That's so cool. And the fruits, that, to me, that's something that is ingrained in my head that I associate with this music video, is the fruits.
Well, what's also ingrained in my head is the, what is it, like that train?
The train around, that's also classic. That's a classic
But, the song itself is very well produced. I actually was focusing on just the song pretty recently, and it's just top-notch production from the 80s is with the song, with all the brass. Now, you're right, I wasn't focusing as much on the specific stereo spectrum of the song just now.
I will say, because we were watching the video, I think the quality of the recording was not as great, right, than if you actually listen to the track by itself.
Sure.
Which I think would be, I think if you did listen to that by itself, it would come off maybe a little bit better.
It would behoove one to
listen to the actual
track
recording
after watching the music video. Mm-hmm. But that's the idea, I think, for a music video is it sells the single, and then people listen to the single, when they're in the car or
right, because the video it's being mixed specifically for in a certain kind of way, and I think especially back then, for people's TVs, it was probably being mixed in a different kind of a way.
Sure, but
I think
there's a lot of cool things about
I don't know if that they thought about that when they were mixing for the music video or not.
There's a lot of cool things about the song. I mean, even when sort of the gospel singers join him. Mm-hmm. Well, essentially, I don't know if they're gospel singers, but it's a kind of a group of female singers that join him. Mm-hmm. That really just adds to the big quality of this song. This song really hits you like a sledgehammer. Sure. It's in your face, and it's just you're like, wow, this is
like those brass.
This is a pop hit.
Sure, and like the music video itself, it kind of. With its innovation and its artistic imagination, it really hits you over the head with it.
But it's interesting, like you're watching Peter Gabriel on this, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, man, in the 70s, he was so different, I mean, the way he dressed up in Genesis and, put this makeup on.
I don't really know what he looked like in the 70s.
He wore this makeup.
I don't know.
And, they were really a prog rock band when they first started. And
prog rock doesn't necessarily mean that they're... that's a...
hey, don't get me wrong. I know. I mean...
That doesn't necessarily mean one would be dressing up makeup. I would associate that more with...
I'm talking about the musical style now, though.
I know, but...
It's interesting that his look and the style of music, it evolved into this, essentially, which is...
He has more of a clean cut look
with a very poppy kind of sound, with a catchy song, Mm-hmm. This is not to say that he wasn't doing experimental stuff at the time. I believe the song that this album
is experiment. I mean, look at this music video.
No, I'm not talking about the music video. I'm talking about musically, the album that this is on. Or I think maybe it's the prior album. There's
definitely some...
Where it... Yeah. He's... I mean, even I think the song that's playing on the stereo and Say Anything, that song is well, it's a really good song.
Well, no, he definitely has some very, I would say, not poppy kind of songs in the 80s that are really there's a song that he does that features Kate Bush, actually. It's a quite long song, and it's really good.
Right.
What is that song called again? I can't remember. I just listened to it the other day.
Sure.
It escapes me right now, but it's really good, and I wouldn't call that... It has definitely... I mean, it is a pop song, but it's not the poppies. I mean, it's a long song, too. That doesn't make it...
Anyway, we could go on about this song. There's a lot to talk about, but I think that's going to do it for this reaction video right now. Mm-hmm. If you enjoyed what you heard and saw today, please hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications to find out about more Max and Nicky reaction videos.
Please keep tuning in.